Hello, ladies and gentlemen, or should I just say gentlemen? I've seen the statistics. But welcome back to Radio Free IV, reporting or recording from outside today because it's a rather British afternoon, rather British evening. Unfortunately, it's really a shame. That the outro of all my videos is this drone footage of IV, and it's so beautiful when the sun's out because this shit. Come on, we're supposed to be SoCal, man. What happened? I mean, I'm from LA, and I don't like this. I'm not built for this. But anyways, that's not the point. The point of the video today is to talk about boomers. To talk about the olds, because in our society, there we've had the unfortunate. I mean, our boomers have made the mistake of believing that they can hold on to power forever, and that the consequences of their actions will not affect them. And they're right in many ways, because when you look at the society that's been built by the boomers, that's been built by the Gen X, that's been built by the people 40 or 50 and over, they really don't have to face a lot of the consequences because they have all the money. They have the one thing that protects you in this society, which is money and power, and or I mean, money and power, one and the same. But they have money, so they're fine. They're going to continue to be fine. But it's us. We're the ones who are not fine. We're the ones who are struggling. We're the ones who are suffering. Young people, because the biggest technology, the biggest economic change that has manipulated and really hollowed out the soul of our country has been one, the introduction and universalization of social media. Obviously social media can have benefits, sure, but but not when you just let it these companies have free reign over addicting children to whatever they'd like to, over addicting the children to you know uh, content that promotes depression, giving them an eating disorder. Yeah, people sometimes will say, oh, people had eating disorders before social media. Cool. Should we make a tool that makes it easier for them to get an eating disorder? Should we add to the reasons that young women especially will get eating disorders? I say no. But the second thing is precarity. It is the gig economy. It is the fact that old people and their parents and their grandparents, or maybe not grandparents, maybe their parents, they lived in a world where the government put effort in to actually protect them. They lived in a world with something called defined benefit pension plans. So what we have today is the opposite. We have defined contribution pension plans. We have a 401k. And the 401k is where you work and every month you put a small portion of your paycheck, your savings, into this retirement account. And then you put it into the stock market and then it'll grow. And, great stuff, right? But in reality, I'd much rather know that through my work, through everything that I do day after day, 30 years later, that instead of hoping that the stock market has been going up the whole time, I'd rather just know that I'm going to receive a certain amount of money back at the end of it. And that's what a defined benefit pension plan does. That's what we don't have anymore. That's what the boomers had, and that's what they've taken from us. In addition, we don't even have real jobs. My prospects for what I'm going to do for work after I graduate college, they're not great. They're not great. And that's one of the reasons that I want to be involved in politics, is because quite frankly, it's the only thing that I know I could put my entire life, my entire soul into. Whether the economy is up or down, because it's something that I care about deeply. But it's a shame. It's a shame that we have to deal with this new society, this sort of mutated form of society that has been created by the boomers, and they don't even seem to care. Um, I've had a number of experiences now studying political science at UCSB, where I will sit in a lecture, and I always try my best every time. I always try to listen and understand where my professors are coming from, because I don't want to just be the guy who goes, "Oh, everything's bad, everything's evil." But my guy, like, are you not? Are we just not going to acknowledge the fact that our society is falling apart? Are we not going to acknowledge that there are evil, bad people doing evil, bad things that affect us directly? Are we just going to sit here and pretend that's not the case? I mean, I know fish don't know they swim in water, but we're human beings, are we not? And it's just, I feel a deep sense of rage at these people for that, at the boomers, at the old people, because why would you choose to sacrifice your kids? You think you're sacrificing someone else's kids, but you're sacrificing your kids, because we're all in the system. We're all in the system, and we're all in this shit together. No one person gets to make it out just because they made enough money and protect their children and their children's children and their children's children's children, unless they protect all of the children, which is why we need to have a good society and not a bad one. And that's what I really am upset at the boomers for. Because as our society gets worse and they continue to live in comfort, they just don't give a damn. They don't care. They don't care. They're completely checked out, completely removed, and completely apathetic and or oblivious. Not cool. Not cool. The boomers have two options. And I'm going to say this now loud and clear, because if our society collapses, they're going to collapse with it. They will. And they may not believe that. They may think that, oh, I have $17 million in my retirement account because my time is blah 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 blah. No, none of that's just going to matter. None of that is going to matter. You have a very simple calculation to make. Would you rather sit in the same seats of power that you've occupied for 40 plus years. I'm talking to you, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of our political representatives, especially on the Democratic side. But look at our 100-year-old president who's dying as we speak, whose life force is just leaking out on camera for everyone to see. Those people can continue to occupy these seats of power, but they need to actually invest and care to improve our conditions and make it easier for us to live. Or they can leave. Now, I want them to leave because I want to take their place. Because I, as a person who is of this generation, as a person who is very attuned to the problems that we face and to the difficulties that we face, the challenges that we need to overcome, I think I do a better job than them. I do. But we don't have time to wait for me. We don't have time to wait for me. I'm a college student. I shouldn't be thinking about the burden that I have to take on to rebuild our future and to create something valuable, something beneficial out of this nothing they've left us. So they have two options: lock the fuck in and really care to improve our society, or leave. And I don't just mean that of people in power. I mean the boomers in general, because I'm talking college professors. Like I said earlier, these people, I've had so many classes where I'll look and I'll be like, you must not see what's going on. You must not. I mean, I understand these people graduated largely 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 15, at the earliest, right? And of course they're moved. They make plenty good money and they spend all their time reading and writing these research papers about their pet interests. But you have a room full of young people, a room full of the future, and you choose not to help impart into them a sense of understanding of what the world around them is becoming. And the thing is, it's because they don't understand. They don't understand, and they can't. I don't know. I don't know if they can be made to understand. And that's one of the things that I want to try to do is just craft arguments that people can grapple with, just no matter their age, because it's crisis moment. It's crisis moment. But the boomers, they gotta go because you can't sacrifice your children. It's a bad idea and it's mean. It's mean as fuck. So I mean that's how I feel. And it's now or never really, because if we continue with this, how do you say? I want to say gerontocracy, but Trump's 80, so octo, it doesn't matter. If we continue with this rule by the old evil people who destroyed the world, then the world will continue to be destroyed. And when the world continues to be destroyed, we are going to have to deal with that. No one else. And I don't want to. I want a good world, and that's what I think we should strive for. But thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to the video. Please like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the me if you like the me. But yeah, have a good day, evening, whenever you're watching this, and thank you. Thank you for watching.
I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna see Patricia McCloskey. I wanna scream for the GOP. I wanna sit with Dan Bongino. I wanna